Hello and welcome back to Rayman Origins. As you may remember, we've unlocked 4 new worlds, and we're gonna do them in the same order we did the first half of the game, starting with Ticklish Temples, the counterpart to Gibberish Jungle, which, as you may expect, has very little to do with temples. It's fairly obvious from the first screen here that the difficulty ramps up slightly right from the get-go. It'll be a while till it gets really hard, and the first world doesn't see much of that, but we have some pretty interesting screens coming up. Oh hey, we can use the missiles. That's neat, so I guess I'll just stand up here and let them do all the work. Yeah, that definitely works. Now, once we climb up here, the ground crumbles, revealing a coin. Slightly counterintuitive, since I normally go after the heart right away, and after that I usually forget to backtrack, but there you have it. You'll also notice there's actually water in here, and actual underwater segment outside the Sea of Serendipity. This is a first, and it won't become as common as I'd like, I guess. But it's still a nice touch that they try to incorporate some of the power-ups we found in the first half to this part of the game. Shoot, red missiles. That spells trouble. Those home in on you, and while you can take them out in mid-air, I find myself taking damage more often than I'd like, so we'll just take the easy way out of this one. To the left here we have a new collectible. They're punching gloves and they work as projectiles. They fire in the direction you're facing, and I'll show it off in a bit. Don't want to spend it on these guys, because you can use them as stairs to reach the coin up there. It's pretty hard to get if you don't bounce on the livid stones. And there goes our punchy glove. It actually moves diagonally if you're underwater, but you can't do that while you're underground, which is kind of unfortunate, really. Also, you always have to waste one when you're entering through doors, which is a shame. Wow, that was close. Thankfully we can use our newly found power-up to take these guys out from a distance. Wow, it's not often I get all 3 heart containers. You can see the platforms connected to a Bulbolum, and if you hit that, all of them will usually fall down into the pit. Either that, or one of the missiles hits it, with the same result. Still boggles the mind how some of the secrets are genuinely clever, and some of them are just, you know, run-throughs like this one. Bumper platform, you know what that means. Also, you could tell, down here we actually have a heart. I'd say it's difficult to find this spot, but it's not. It's clearly visible from the left when you enter this place. This final screen is pretty neat. Everything crumbles down to bits, so it forces you to run for it. It's not that perilous, to be honest, but you want to maximize your profits with the Lamb King bonus that you get from the start. Had I not dawdled around, I actually could have grabbed those final lumps with the bonus too, but once we've dealt with this last guy, we're gonna have 419 lumps, and I think that's the most we've accumulated in the course of this Let's Play. Oh dang it, just one more lum and I could have cracked some really inane jokes. What a tragedy. Oh boy, up and down. Back when I first played the game, I pretty much finished it in one sitting. And once I got here, I wasn't really all that comfortable with the controls. So you can imagine that I get killed quite a few times jumping on these platforms. I mean, it looks ridiculously easy, I know, but it still got me quite a few times. It's a pretty well hidden coin right at the start there, which you definitely want to pick up. It was probably the main culprit for most of my deaths on my first time too. Gonna take the upper path here first. There is a coin on the right. I find it's a lot easier to get if you let go of the run button there for a spell, which seems really counterintuitive, and I hate doing it because I always keep it pressed down for whatever reason. But sometimes it helps to let go. Bumper! You know what I really enjoy about this level though? The vegetation and the overall ambient. It's really nice. Okay, there's a kind of a tricky part coming up here, but before we get to that, there is a secret up here. I doubt many of you remember it anymore. There was actually a pretty similar secret in the first half of the game. One of the first levels we did, actually. That's another thing you're going to see in the second half of the game. A lot of the ideas are recycled, but in a really tasteful manner. It doesn't feel as if they were rushed, just reworked. Okay, this is kind of a tricky section. I'm gonna try something real hard. First off, we're gonna have to get to this segment as quickly as possible to trigger the moving walls, because they're not a universal cycle. And that enables us to get a whole bunch of lumps while the power-up is still active. Yikes, that was a close call. You can actually outswim the claw, but we'll just do this the way they intended this time. Really sweet music change there, I gotta say. Ubisoft did something right at least. You know, I bet I can get that coin with these guys. Yeah, got it. There's actually an easier way to get to it though. Just use the bumper platform, jump off the wall. Speaking of the wall, I actually discovered that they once again forgot to finish it, it seems. And for a thought I was really stoked. I thought I could get on top of that, I could run to the end of the level, this could be a viable speedrunning strategy. But unfortunately there's an invisible wall. Figures. Speaking of rehashed areas, I believe there was one exactly like this in Go With The Flow, way back in the first world. And much like in that one, we leave one lump behind there. How's that for a coincidence? Judging by the lump count, looks like we're almost at the end of the level, but there is one more secret up here. It's pretty easily missed. If it wasn't for the soundbite, that is. Oh, it's you again. Well, let's get this over with. Well, at least all the missiles are blue, so they're not gonna... Oh, crap. You know what's a pet peeve of mine? The fact that the missiles don't kill the enemies in one shot. You need two to get rid of them. Wow, look at him go. I wonder if they would bounce on forever if you had two perfectly vertical walls parallel to each other. And now that I've said that out loud, I guess I'm gonna have to find one, because that would be just too awesome to miss. Alright, one final door. If I can just get through it. And that brings us to the end of the stage. So long. One more thing I gotta show you. Ever since Porto Panic, I've had an obsession with these walls, and this one in particular was kind of interesting because there was a foreground in the way. So I just tried to get to the top, and this happened. So yeah, that's pretty neat. I believe what it means is that there isn't a loading screen incorporated with the doors. They're just checkpoints, just ways to get through, to keep the area separate, so to speak. At first I thought, man, that could be used for some speedrunning, but really it's not a viable option. For one, it kills you on some occasions, and secondly, it takes a lot of time to get up there, and third, most of the areas are sealed off anyway. Was that a wind suck just now? Well, yes it was. It's another flying stage. You know what? I don't feel like it. See ya! I should have guessed. Okay, we'll do it your way, game. So, can I get away with just a little bit of complaining here? Because Hunter-Gatherer is my least favorite flying stage in the game. There's one way later in the game that's definitely harder, and it's giving me more gray hairs than this one. But this is the first flying stage that I had to redo a whole bunch of times my first times through, because I wanted to get the medal right off the bat and not have to return to this level. And let me tell you, it was a difficult task. Furthermore, it gave me a lot of trouble on this try too. This is probably my 5th take or so. My main problem here is that there's a whole bunch of lumps hidden in the vegetation, and when you're scouting around for that, you also need to be aware of where the enemies are going to show up. Third, you need to maximize your profits for Tlumking bonuses, meaning you pick them up at the last possible moment. Ah, dang it, there goes the heart. And 5 lumps as a consequence as well. Dang it, I could have got more bonuses from that if I hadn't missed the first shot. Oh, sweet halfway point. Of course it also means things are gonna get more hairy. Or spiky. No touching the walls here. And everything's dark, so it's more difficult to see all the bonuses hidden in the background. Not all of them, of course. And at the same time, you still need to memorize the enemy positions if you want to maximize your profits here. Which you need to do if you're going for the medal. And this is not how the game's supposed to play, that's just Fraps slowing things down. There we go. Really could have used that slowdown a bit further down the road, to be honest. Because all this is still kid stuff. Alright, there's a pretty well hidden Dwelbo lump coming up right here. It's hard to see because of the dark. Right there. Whoa, way too close for comfort. Thankfully that's the most difficult part dealt with, so now it's pretty much easy street all the way to the end. I also needed to get that final bonus. There aren't enough lumps in the rest of the level to get enough for the medal, so if I didn't get that, I'd have to restart the whole thing. For the umpteenth time. Thankfully we're almost at the end here. Nothing much to do, nothing to kill us anymore. I just need to play it safe. I'll just carry this guy to the end, why not? Where he gets swallowed whole by a mosquito. That's one hell of a way to go. With that, we're finally done. Thank goodness, I never have to come back to this level again. 376. So 26 over the limit. I don't think that's too much. I did miss a couple of batches of enemies. I could have played slightly better, but on the whole, one of the hardest levels to get the medal, for sure. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time.